Hey guys, it's Dan here. Today I'm going to be reviewing the top most meta builds very seriously and very harshly.
We already know what's going to be the most popular characters in 0.4 anyway.
A lot of folks have been posting a ton of League Starters lately, so I'll be ranking from top tier to the worst, so that you, my dear viewer, will not get baited into the League start, okay? If you ask any streamer who is Uber Dan, they will tell you that he's the greatest build maker, or stuff like he's a legend, you know? I don't like being popular, and I don't mind anyone using my builds anyway. I'm here to provide all you guys with the most powerful builds with no cost at all. I don't charge a single penny for my work. I don't ask for any donations, and I don't beg for subscriptions either. The only reason why people come to me is because I'm currently the best they have, and I work day and night sharing my builds and ideas with most Path of Exile streamers, just so that they can make a living out of it, you know?
Which is why today's video is sponsored by Epic POE Builds.
With over 6,000 members, it's a group of passionate players like me who make the strongest endgame builds with very detailed written guides, all right? Unlike sites like Maxroll, these guys also make secret farming strats which are only available to the paid members. This model is brilliant. You know why? Because one, if only a few people play these strats, then they make more profit out of it. And two, most of these strats also include exploits, which is only visible to their paid members. And anything that's not public is hidden from grinding gear games and their nerf hammers. This is all available to their basic tier. And if you upgrade your membership, you get to buy the builds that they play, which are the most powerful endgame builds. It will only cost you the divines it took to make them. They don't do any RMT stuff like other websites. They are completely against any monetary transaction outside the membership fee, which is like the cheapest subscription fee on Twitch, all right? So the first build that I want to share is the Cast on Crit Comet Bloodmage build. It was my main build in 0.3 from day one, and it was the most fun build I've ever played, you know? And a lot of folks copied it exactly as I kept updating it. It had insane clear and insane single target damage, so much so that every Uber boss felt like a joke, you know? If you look at the life meter, you guys are gonna think that it's a glass cannon, but it's really not. You have instant leech and very high life pool, which you can further increase if you put more divines into it. But unfortunately, a couple of things got nerfed, starting with the shield. It's been nerfed quite a bit, kind of like a 30% less damage now overall, but not as bad as the unique support gem, which was completely destroyed. But the good thing is that only damage loss applies to our spark skill. It doesn't really affect our comets, you know? Most of the trash monsters will still die to spark, but for the rare monsters, you'll have to rely more on your cast on crit setup now. Although the spark version is nerfed, I think that you can still play this with my Frostbolt or Ice Nova version, mainly because you trigger comets more consistently with Ice Nova. Somehow it seems to have more energy gain compared to any other skill. Then finally, they are nerfing wands in general, you know, just to buff the staves. I'll try to revive this one way or another. Up next, you have the most famous Poison Pathfinder build, which a lot of folks are hyped about. It uses Poison Burst Arrow with Toxic Growth and Gas Arrow. This build is quite similar to the Lightning Arrow Deadeye. You have Herald of Plague for screen-wide clearing, Poison Burst Arrow in place of Lightning Arrow, Toxic Growth instead of Lightning Rod, and a Roa mount to hop it. It's like swapping tomato ketchup with spicy tomato ketchup, you know? And I have a feeling it's going to be a league of romantic fantasy between the Druid and Pathfinder. Then in the next league, they will nerf Toxic Growth, just like Lightning Rod now. But the damage is quite insane for the cost of setting up this build, you know? There are two versions you can choose from. It's either my version or my brother Fubby. We're always in tough competition, you know? But I'm always one step ahead of him. My build has got more DPS than him, like always. Poison Pathfinder is a build that deals tons of damage with a simple playstyle. And all you really need to make a quick work of the entire campaign is a bow with some good physical damage rolls. The build scales extremely well in the endgame. It easily clears all content, including high-tier delirious maps and uber pinnacle bosses. Up next in the S tier is the Primal Strikes Deadeye. This one is another banger of a build. I have no idea why they buffed it. It's got great clearing and great single target. You basically combo this with Spear Stab and Thunderous Leap. Primal Strikes basically performs a lightning-charged stab that can be chained into a combination of up to 3 attacks. The first two attacks creates a charging Wildwood Spirit if they hit a shocked enemy and refresh the shock duration. The third attack is a large swipe that inflicts elemental exposure and can consume all that shock to conjure a stampede of spirits. In 0.4, the final strike now has plus 20 to melee strike range, which was previously 5, you know. Plus, the final strike now inflicts elemental exposure on hit, lowering total elemental resistances by 50%, which was 20%. That's a huge buff. You can play this on Amazon or Deadeye. Both are best in my opinion. Up next is the explosive shot with explosive grenades. Everything here's on fire, especially you. It's like you're dating my sister who used to be my brother, you know? You basically clear everything with explosive shot, and then you annihilate all the tanky bosses in a combo with explosive grenades and gas grenades. So it's 3 buttons on bosses and just 1 button for mapping. You want to fire these projectiles in a Nova for that brain-dead playstyle, right? Also, that Indian gem got buffed, by the way. You basically link it to explosive shot. It helps to increase the effect of your gas skill, you know? Just kidding. One tip I do want to mention is that you want to use rapid shot just before the boss fight so that you get that extra fire damage, all right? I gave this build over to a cat a couple of months ago who is a popular streamer, just so that he can get more Twitch subscriptions to buy some cat food, you know? I hope you guys enjoyed it. Then you have the ice-tipped ice shot Deadeye, using everybody's favorite freezing salvo. As you guys know, ice-tipped arrow got significantly buffed in the new patch. It's not as strong as the old lightning arrow Deadeye, but it's super smooth, super comfy, and a Sydney Sweet safe playstyle. Well, since you are anyway freezing everything around you. It's pretty easy playstyle, but not that cheap to set up, you know. Although the damage you're seeing here is from Rakiata, it can still be made pretty viable at a league start with a couple of cheap uniques, you know. Ice Shot doesn't really have much combos like other skills, which is a net positive and a net negative in a way. If you play this with the new ice-tipped arrows, you can easily level early on, alright? Then, I want to quickly mention my Acidic Concoction Pathfinder build. It's another poison build with Herald of Plague and a fast playstyle. It's best when you play this on an expensive setup, which is why this one at the B tier. Otherwise, it's just great for clearing with a decent single target damage, alright? You can add Vine Arrow and Poison Burst Arrow for single target. We also have a companion, which is Cute Rabid Dog, by the way. But I would recommend the Poison Burst build over this for League Start, okay? Another honorable mention is my Molten Blast Ritualist build. It's super strong into the late game, with insane single target and insane clearing speed, you know? It's quite a secret build not a lot of people know about. I've been testing this in my secret alt account, just to avoid the nerf hammer, okay? Now, Molten Blast is a warrior skill, which is one of the worst options for leveling, right? But if you were to invest 3 mirrors with stuff like Diala's Desire, Rakiata, Uhtred's Augury, a Megalomaniac, and a Prism of Belief, you'll get to play exactly like this. Which is why it's a C tier on my League starter list. Then you have my classic Blood Hunt with Rake and Lightning Spear. This is still a powerful Bloodmage build despite the nerfs from 0.3, you remember. Lightning Spear still has got great clearing, you know? It's getting even buffed with a new support gem called Grounding Shocks, which basically turns dead enemies that were shocked into living Tesla coils. So it's going to be extremely great for mapping and even with a decent single target damage, alright? It's mainly physical and bleed damage. We have to choose a Blood Mage for this to get this along with the best scaling for crit chance and crit damage. You can use the good old Tangle Tongue Spear here, which is quite cheap after the nerfs. It's still quite strong after testing it, as you can see from here. Now for single target damage, you're going to leap at the boss with your Rake skill just to inflict that aggravated bleed. Then you one-shot the boss with your Blood Hunt skill. So that's a simple combo which requires a couple of investments into stuff like bleeds, crits, fizz, and tits. It's that simple. Another honorable mention is Mr. Karn's Shield Wall Titan, which you can also League Start with Warbringer. It's great for all the pure melee and warrior enjoyers. Now, leveling with a warrior on a League Start is quite difficult. Even my sister Lily admits it.
Not playing melee, I'm not doing it. I can't bring myself to play melee in this game. I'm not doing it.
Once you get Shield Wall, it's much easier but it's still slow until you can consistently break the wall using your war cries instead of your totem. It's not that popular of a build, mainly because most people stay away from melee in this game. But in my opinion, armor is much better now than it was in 0.2, you know? You'll feel much tankier once you invest more into the armor applies to elemental damage mods. You have quite impressive single target damage on uber bosses, but your clearing only gets better much later into the game, unless you're using stuff like Herald of Ash, you know? On the plus side, Iron Ward is getting a massive buff. I've been testing this lately, and currently it's only great when it's at least 80% and if you're surrounded by monsters. And you need to take a lot of physical damage to get that number up. I'm so glad that they are tripling up those numbers to make this viable now.
And then we have the Flicker Strike Chayula, or Chalupa, which a lot of players enjoyed last league. Now, the Acolyte of Chayula got a massive set of buffs this league, but the only problem is it's got too many problems as a league starter, you know? Starting with defense, and then you have the nerfs to charge gain. This is a build that is heavily reliant on power charges. So you mostly use Tempest Flurry to gain your charges. Unlike the POE2 Flicker Strike, which is very consistent, the Flicker Strike can only be used on Mondays and Thursdays, because gaining power charges is not an easy thing, all right? Then you have the biggest issue playing as a Chayula. Most of the power is gated behind those remnants you see on the ground. Although they buffed these ground remnants quite well now, the playstyle of chasing them and picking them up, it's like you're at the heat of battle and you're chasing fireflies, you know? So that's my issue with this build. Finally, it's time to talk about Hollow Palm builds. I'm sure a lot of folks want to ask about this one, but I'm sorry, it's gone. It's obliterated. It's just not viable now. Currently, that keystone grants 1% more attack speed per 75 evasion, which used to be previously 25. So if you have 2,000 base evasion, previously you would get 80% more attack speed, but now you get 32%. With the buff to base attack speed, that's it. Remember, you are missing out on a weapon which is a huge deal for flat damage. Even if you invest a lot of flat damage into your ring and gloves, it's still nothing compared to having a decent quarterstaff. Hollow Palm was never an endgame build. It was great, but wasn't really that powerful as most endgame builds, you know? So you couple this with the nerfs to charge gain and lack of defenses, it's really bad as a build and a league starter for 0.4. So that's it for my rant. Hope you guys have a blast at your league start, okay? And remember, save Ghazi and free Palestron.